Good evening all, hope you're all doing well. Welcome to round 2 of the CXR Porsche Cup, and tonight we are at the Hockenheim GP circuit, the new track released on iRacing a few weeks back. Tonight, as usual, have Ruben jollying it up somewhere else in Holland. Good evening, Ruben, and Philippe.
Evening.
Evening.
Our executive producer, director, and one job man. So, hope everyone's well. Lovely day today here in Blighty. Hope it is where you guys are too. Oh, yeah. So Hockenheim ring, cracking circuit. Proved very good racing when we did it at the tail end of last season, which was only 4 or 5 weeks ago at most. And hopefully it will be reciprocated tonight. There's Ruben subscribing. Thank you, Ruben.
Loves a nice subscription, doesn't he? Let's go take a look at the points from last week.
So Chris Shorter, who was one of the pre-race favourites, took the win, shot off like a stab rat off the line, and won quite comfortably. Didn't realise he was South African.
Yeah,
man. Right? He is.
Yeah, he is.
Oh, that's right. So I think that's our first South African participant in the league. All countries obviously welcome. So congratulations to him. So he's currently leading in of Jamie Malema, Dutch, finished second. David Ward from Blighty itself coming third with 15. Pascal Tigelaar, also from Holland, in 12 points in fourth, and Dominic Forster rounding up top 5 there from Germany. So a nice mix of peoples. Amateur standings, Dennis Meisner from Denmark, if my geography is correct, 25 points. Esley Wavers, is that how it's pronounced, Ruben?
Exactly, man. Yep.
Oh,
absolutely.
Wow. Those Dutch lessons are working wonders. In second on 18 points.
And now number 3.
Gerritsen. Oh, it's even more easy to say than I thought. Third place in 15. Postema in 4th on 12. Luke Tower in 5th on 10th. So, good racing last week. Hopefully we'll see some more of the same this week at the Hockenheim ring. GP.
I think we will, mate. I mean, we've just been watching the practice session beforehand, and I could tell you that the top 20 was within 1.5 seconds.
Really?
So,
wow.
Yeah, and the top 5 was within about 0.2, and the top 10 within half second. So it's nice, evenly spread out across the field, which I think will be quite good for the racing. Depending on if some people were maybe sandbagging a little bit here and there, it's looking like it's going to be closer than we saw last week at Silverstone. So yeah, definitely something to look forward to.
Sounds promising. Should be good racing. So tonight in race control, the unsung heroes in a deep dark corner of a room somewhere. I presume it's a dark room. Yeah. Makes a change from being at work, really. But there you go.
In the race control dungeon.
Yeah, that's it. Phil's race control dungeon. If it's like anything like that photo you sent me earlier, it'd be very interesting. Aaron, Neil, have we got Ed in there as well?
Yes, we do.
Oh, we squeezed 3 in there tonight, have we? Excellent. Okay, so good luck, guys, tonight watching. Oh, so what are your thoughts tonight then? Is it going to be another Chris Hodges masterclass? Is it?
Chris Shorter.
Sorry, Chris Shorter masterclass. Sorry, I was just watching Hodges going into the lead down on.
No, Dominicus Ivesa was. I think he was just in front of him in the practice round. Yeah. So
I think it was 0.12 of a second in front of Shorter.
When I say just, that's how close I mean just.
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay.
So we're not seeing, and that's what I meant earlier. We're not seeing sort of the bigger intervals that we saw last week at Silverstone, which is good. We still have about roughly 8 minutes, just over 8 minutes of qualifying left.
Okay.
So it's Matthew Hodges leading the way.
Yep. So just coming up to, like you say, just coming up halfway now. Matthew Hodges ahead currently of David Ward, ahead of Jamie Malema. But as we saw last week, there's usually a flurry of activity towards the last couple of minutes. I suspect it'll be no different here.
No, I mean, it's an open qualifying. You've got 15 minutes. If you get enough track, you can go again. We don't have the maximum amount of, say, 2 laps, or you just need to get a good qualifying lap in before the end of the session. If not the best, then just as best as you can do to get a good position to start the race in. Looking at the amateurs, it's Esley Wavers currently on 7th, only 3/10 behind Matthew. So I mean, that's showing he's a good, quick driver. Apart from that, it's nice spread out, but still close. I mean, look at the top 15. It's only a second in between. That's really how close it's going to be. The question is, who's going to be up front?
So currently, top 6 are all pro drivers. Esley Weavers is our highest amateur qualifier, currently in 7th position. Then it's Dennis Meisler down in 10th. I'm just wondering if Mr. Weavers there, or Mr. Weavers there, is a bit of a ringer, because I think from memory he did well last week as well, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
I did,
So,
yeah. I do expect him to be in the top 3 of the AMs-ish. He was at the very limit of between AMs and pros. So,
just watching Luke Trower there losing it, coming out of the corner.
Oh, and there in the background as well, I think that's Maarten Postema, who just spun his car around. Currently in 19th position. 1.6, he spun at the hairpin, which is quite a difficult one. Hairpin, the way you want to approach it obviously is brake as late as you can. Maybe try to go for a slightly later apex, just so you can open up your steering as quickly as possible, so you can really apply the power. If you have too much steering angle applied, then it's quite easy to turn the car around with these conditions and with the power how it's on this car. Oh, a little bit of a moment there by Stuart Winus.
Yeah, we saw that
final turn.
Saw that last week, where a little bit of oversteer on a few of the corners seemed to be catching the guys out, didn't they? There was a couple that struggled to keep the power under control.
Yeah, and I mean, once you really get a hang of this car, it's quite. I'm not going to say it's quite easy to control, but it's really good to do. While in the meantime, it's Shorter jumping into pole position with a 140.8, still just under 2/10 in front of Matthew, so still close. But yeah, I mean, once you get the hang of it, it is sort of controllable. But yeah, once you're in that heat of the moment where you're fighting for position, as we definitely saw last week, then yeah, chances are you could spin the car around and have to fight all over again for that same position. And as close as it is, Mark, I mean, you could easily lose out a couple of positions.
Yeah, we see that last week, didn't you? If you're getting off track or a slowdown or anything like that, then yeah, we saw a couple of guys lose 3-4 positions because there was I think three big trains last week, and obviously some other little battles running around. So hopefully it'll be similar tonight. It's good to watch, I thought.
Yeah, and to make you all remember, we do have a 15 instant limit point as well as 1 false repair. So if one makes a mistake, then you could at least jump into the pit or drive to the pit if that's still possible, and get that false repair going so you can get on track as quickly as possible. Yep. Cheers for the follow there, Navi661. Welcome to the CXR stream. And yeah, man, Mark, I'm really looking forward to this.
Yeah, no, it should be good. 4 minutes left to quali now. Yeah, just to expand on Ruben's saying, it's 45 minutes race with 1 compulsory pit, and as Ruben mentioned, 1 fast repair available should the need arise. I'm guessing sort of 24-ish laps, 25 laps, but I'm guessing last week is anything to go by, they'll be pitting around halfway. So yeah, I'll redo my maths in a bit just to make sure the lap numbers are right, but if that's the case and it is 24-25 laps, then we're probably looking between laps 10 and 12 to pit. Just used to
Oh.
watching the GTEs. They always used to pit right at the end, but last week they all seemed to pit within 2 laps of each other halfway through. So
that is actually something I'm going to bring up with it. I am thinking about just slightly increasing the fuel limit from next week, just to allow a little bit more of a spread of when you can pit.
the window, yeah. Okay.
If we can open that window just slightly better, I think it'll help ease the congestion maybe in the pit lane just on that one lap. Obviously, it could mean that everyone just goes for the full tank and then all pits on the same lap again. So you never know. But
yeah, but it gives for a little bit more room for strategy.
Yeah, hopefully. It just seemed a little bit too halfway last week.
Well, it was spot on, wasn't it, last week? So
And I mean, and the thing was last week as well, with, like you mentioned, Mark, with the groups of cars we had. I mean, if you have that little bit more of room to play with the fuel levels, and you want to get out of that group because you may know you have a little bit more pace, but you can't really get the pace on track because you're in that pack.
Yeah.
Exactly. It could. I mean, yeah, looking good for strategy. While Shorter is setting another faster lap.
Wow.
40.5, now half a second in front of Hodges. So has Shorter been sandbagging a little bit? Who knows? Just had a good run. Maybe he had some good toe as well, because obviously with the longer straights on this track, when you're behind someone like 1.5 seconds to a second, and you can get that toe in, that's good. While Pim Bao, another Dutchman, jumps into second, just under 4/10 behind Shorter, 400ths of a second in front of Matthew. So I mean, it's still looking close, because look at the top 6, still within that half second of Shorter.
Yeah, so even 4th and 5th are only 200ths between them. So looking close. Only 3 at the moment under 141. But I suspect there may be 1 or 2 more by the time this finishes in the next couple of minutes. So we are getting to the business end now, coming up to the last minute of qualifying. So look at that livery, gorgeousness on a car. Matthew Hodges in a CXR livery. He pulls up to the side, so I suspect his quali is done. So we are on board or watching Esli Vivas currently heading the amateur qualifying down in 10th. He did sneak back up to 8th, but it's just been overtaken by Rene Dujin, is that pronounced?
Down.
Down. Oh, is it down?
Down, yeah.
And Dominic Forster. So, yeah, Esli was in the top 10, is now 10th, but halfway through his lap, so he's going to have time to get this on the board if it's a good one.
And in the meantime, in the chat, we've got Bryce Watson cheering on for Chris. Let's go. Well, I think he definitely will be. Flag has dropped, the checkered flag for the qualifying session. Currently watching Joe Vaesa, 6th position, half second. And it only takes him about 2/10 to jump up to second. And if he has a really, really good run, who knows what he can do in the pole time. While Ward just came across the line, 4th.
So the flags are out. Who's still on track? I think everyone is actually, bar Daniel Merchant is in the pit, and Postma, who's just gone in.
Here we've got Pascal Tigelaar.
Sounded like he was running out of fuel there. Could be wrong.
I mean, we did hear the same thing last week. I'm not quite sure, or can't really remember who it was, but it was somebody else coming across the line, sort of stuttering, which looked like he was running out of fuel as well. Here we have Danny Beagle in 15th position at the moment, showing 2 yellow sectors, but as we know, it could well be that he's just 1,000 slower than his fastest sector 1 and 2, so it doesn't necessarily mean that he's not going to have a better qualifying lap. Let's wait and see until he comes across the start-finish line. No, actually he doesn't. He's coming in, so he definitely did lose too much time there. And he's gonna end the qualifying. I think then we just have to wait for the results there, if I'm correct, Phil.
Yep, should be along in a few seconds. Normally, just we have to wait for the the actual session to close before I can bring them on screen for everybody. Let's get that prepped, and here we go.
So there we have it, the qualifying results for round 2 at the Hockenheim GP. On pole position, it's Chris Zolder for Ignia Motorsports. On P2, it's Pimbao for Ferry Monster Esports. On P3, it's Matthew Hodges for CXR Project Black. In P4, we have David Ward for Vulcan Sim Racing. P5, Jamie Mollema for Team IRNL. P6, Dominicus Jovaisa, XC Racing Team. Yeah?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Are you reading the right numbers? Just... There were slightly... so Chris Shorts is in P1, Pinbar in P2.
Yeah.
Matthew Hodges in P4, P3. I think you were like one behind.
No. Pole position was Chris Shorter, P2 Pimbao, P3 Matthew Hodges, P4 David Ward, P5 Jamie Mollema, P6 Dominicus Jovaisa, P7 Pascal Tegelaar, P8 Dominic Purster, P9 René Duin, P10 Ashley Wavers, P11 Aureus Jomantas, P12 is Kieran Smart. On P13 we have Dennis Meisner, P14 René Borsche, P15 Danny Beagle, P16 Rutger Gerritsen, P17 Stuart Wines, P18 Robin Oosting, P19 Dries Kader. On P20 Ben Hoffman, P21 Daniel Merchant, P22 Luke Towler, P23 Maarten Postema, P24 Maurice Padenhop, and I think that's it. Or did we have a P25? Nope, that should be done. So we're gonna have to wait until the flag drops. Standing start. Let's see how people will get off the line. It was looking mighty close on qualifying as well as practice. So let's hope for the same during this 45-minute race. There we have it. And here we got the lights coming on. And we're off. And I think everyone has a pretty decent start. Some people losing a couple of positions, nothing too major. Oh, we see Dominic Förster. That's Dominic Förster dropping back a lot of positions. He was turned around in turn 1. Oh, and there's contact between 3 cars. That's Robin Oosting, Ben Hoffman, and Rutger Gerritsen.
Who's that? Higgins. How'd you say that?
Gerritsen.
Ah.
Right. So, I mean, that's 3 cars, and it looked like an unfortunate coming together when they were going 3 wide.
We'll see if we can have a look at that. Is that yellows have gone up as well? Oh no, Interlagos all over. Well,
that's why we've got race control. If too much is going on, with too much cars involved in an incident as well, a full course yellow will be thrown. So people can just let it calm down a little bit. And here we're going to see the incident. Yeah, I don't think...
Ouch.
I mean, for the car in the middle, I don't think there was a lot he could do.
Oosting there was unfortunate to say the least there. He's innocent bystander, I think they call it. Nowhere to go. Went left on the grass, and as you quite often point out, Ruben, once you're on it, it's a pig to get off it. Especially
he tried to get out of that, out of the way of the crashing cars, but it's, I mean, they are on quite some high pace or speed already.
How does that work on the full course yellows then? So could Oosting, for example, tow back to the pit, do the fast repair, get back out and just join the back of the grid, I assume? Or has he got to sit in there and wait for the clock to come down?
I think race control will have a little look there to see what they will decide. If I remember correctly, I think we had it once before where everybody was still on that same lap. So I think we'll have to wait and see. I mean, it looked like Robin really did had quite a lot of damage, but then again, he has that fast repair he could use, so I'm not quite sure why he still was in the stall, to be honest. I mean, because he's towed, right? Yeah, true. We see Dominic Forster, Ben Hoffman, Rutger Gerritsen, and Danny Beagle in the pit lane as well. I would reckon they will use their fast repair and come out as quickly as possible, which it does look like. So I think the only one who may lose out on this one, though, is Robin Oosting. It will depend on how much longer it will take and if they will give him that drive past the pace car. We'll have to wait and see.
Good to see we've got Britain's next top model, or Europe's next top models down there. Dennis, Kieran and Martin on the sweaty cams. Good evening, gentlemen. I love the way Kieran Smart just looks really like he's going out for a casual Sunday drive, doesn't he? Always, don't matter what it is.
Yeah, it is. Although I like the way, maybe we have to message him, like he needs to put on those suits more often, just like
the old
when
elf
we did.
Outfit. Did
Yeah, remember around Christmas last time?
Yeah.
It was good stuff.
Very festive.
That was. So looking at the positions, Mark.
Yeah,
due to all that happened, who gained the most positions?
The winner and losers? Right, so at the moment, Postema is taking 8th place advantage up into 15th. Baden Hop is up 7 to 17th, so they're the biggest winners so far. Daniel Merchant and Dries Kader. Dries currently sitting in 14th and Daniel in 16th. Have both gone up 5. Stuart Minus has gone up 4 to 13th. There's a couple of minor changes, but nothing to get too excited on so far. Robin Oosting still sitting in the pit, so obviously still must be towing in, I assume. Hopefully he can use his fast repair and get out, because he's currently showing a lap down. A bit harsh, really, bearing in mind he wasn't the result of his fault.
No, but I mean, that's unfortunately sometimes things that can happen during the race, where you are just that innocent bystander and get caught up in an incident that's happened around you. I mean, he tried his best to avoid it, but luck wasn't with him when he did, unfortunately. But we'll have to wait and see, because we are coming around now for that second time with the Fogogello, so he will be 2 laps down. I don't think there will be a lot more time for tow-in. Normally, I think it would be between roughly 2-3 minutes. Not quite sure on Hockenheim how that will play out, but there we see him in the background, still in the pit lane.
And Kieran's dived in. So I don't know if he's going for a fast repair, maybe.
Well, I mean, if the car doesn't have that much damage, the question is, do you want to use that fast repair that quickly in the race? I mean, for Robin Oosting and some of the others, it's quite obvious they had that much damage. You do want to use it. But if you have minor damage and it's not really affecting your pace or your performance, then you're probably better off just saving it, just in case you need it later on in the race. I mean, you never know. It's 45 minutes of racing, so we'll have to wait and see. So the answer to the question to Ruben Spilt in the chat, Robin Oosting unfortunately was an innocent bystander, as we say, in an incident in front of him. He tried to avoid it, but was a little bit unlucky with the outcome, hit the barrier and had quite a lot of damage. So he towed back to the pit, but I think he's out. So the question will be, will race control let him go by, or what will happen with Robin Oosting? I think we're seeing him in the background right there. And I do believe we will have race control. And he's coming through, right? So race control wants to put Robin Oosting at least on the same lap as the leader in the race, which I do believe is the right thing to do. We're not quite sure. He's stopping now. I think we'll have to check. And who's that other car behind him? Yeah, there he goes. So I think race control just made it clear that everybody has to stay on the left side of the track. So the other cars can pass apart from here. He's gonna go by as quickly as possible, but then again also as safely as possible. You don't want anything to happen on these laps behind the safety car. There he comes up to the front. And now it's up to him to try and do it as quickly as possible, which isn't that easy. His tires probably will have cooled down a little bit going that slow. And that's another interesting thing, though, Mark, with when the pace car will come in.
Yeah.
Who's been the best on the tires with keeping the temperature in the right window?
And also, it's going to change the pit window, I would have thought, as well. So
It
currently,
definitely will.
yeah, currently coming up to 9 minutes, if my eyes do not deceive me. There's going to be at least another lap with the pace car out. So, yeah, if that all ties in nicely, yeah, Robin will be on the same lap, which he is currently doing. So, yeah, if that ties in nicely, actually, with a bit of luck. So, hopefully that's coming in this lap. And then, yeah, although Ustin's got to start at the back, he is actually technically on the same laps as everyone else. So, that evens things out again.
Yeah, and there you can see that the lights of the pace car in front or the safety car are out, which means that the car will come in. We've got a cracker in the chat as well saying the exact same thing, so cheers. And then it's definitely go, go, go. I mean, how eager will people be?
Hopefully not too eager, because that's how they got there in the first place. So,
Yeah, well, like I say, I mean, we see the people weaving, coming along this straight, just trying to keep a little bit of heat in the tires. But it's not only the tires, of course. You do need to keep that.
brakes.
You really
as
do
well.
need exactly, man. You need to keep the temperature in the brakes as well, because I mean, turn 1 can be tricky, but especially turn 2. Cheers for the follow there. Welcome to CXR TV, currently hosting round 2 of the CXR Porsche Cup at Hockenheim GP. We're having a full course yellow due to an incident. Oh, Robin Oosting set the fastest lap right there. Well, that's bound to happen when he's the only one who's pretty much on pace at the moment.
Even I fancy my chance on the fastest lap with that pace car setting. So we're halfway over, so I'm guessing another good minute and then we're good to go. So at the moment, Chris Short currently leading ahead of Matthew Hodges, who's gone up 1 place, Pim Bow in the 3rd, David Ward in 4th, Jamie Molina 5th, Dominicas Yaveza in 6th, Pascal Tigala in 7th, Rene down in 8th, Leslie Weaver's the highest amateur driver currently in 9th, and Yomantis in 10th. So, coming up to the final section of the track, they're all bunching up and all weaving.
Yeah, Robin Oosting is at the back of the pack, while I think in the background there it looked like somebody nearly lost control of his car.
Oh dear, someone did actually.
The question is, which car does he need to get behind to? Yeah, I think he needs to, not quite sure. We'll have to wait and see. I would reckon he needs to be at the back of this pack, but, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Does look like we are close for going, and we're off. Or at least Chris is.
Yeah, car's in. Chris is off, crosses the line.
Cool, nice little gap there to Matthew Hodges in P2. And here we've got Leslie Wavers, as you said, the highest amateur at the moment, in 9th position. And we're a little bit more single file this time around, which seems to work quite well to make sure that everybody goes through turn 1 and 2 as clean as possible. Oh, and there we have a spinner in the background. That's Pascal Tegelaar. I think he kept control of his car though, as best as he could. Then obviously starts a little bit dirty.
Ooh,
oh,
Matthew Hodges looking up. Left it a bit late there.
and that's a big lock up. And then again, the HT jumps down quite a lot of positions. Back up at P6. So a lot going on. But that puts Pimbau and David Ward in P2 and P3. Currently on board with Jamie Mollema for Team IRNL. He's behind the Academy driver from Falcon Sim Racing. And while I think Stuart Winans took P10 there from Ashley Wavers. And here we see Dennis Meisner for Wraith Energy Racing. He had a good race last week at Silverstone, finished in, I do believe it was 4th. And here we have Dries Kader, currently in 12th, for CXR Project Black. And he's behind Ashley Wavers, and if I'm seeing that correctly, it looks like Ashley is showing a little bit of damage on the left rear there, Mark.
Take your word for it, I haven't spotted it. No surprise,
Right.
Chris Short put the fastest lap in at 1:41.41.
And he just pulled out a gap of 1.3 seconds. He just wants to get out of that sort of... He doesn't want to have Pim in his draft continuously. And he's close on that border of getting him out of it, actually, while Dave Ward is still within that second of Pim. And then we've got a nice group there to P7. Then a 2-second gap to Jamantas, and he's being followed within that half second by Dennis Meisner, while we see some position changes further down. Rutger Gerritsen goes to P20, and I believe Robin Oosting took the position from Maurice Badenhop for P17. Oh, I think that was the lockup that we just saw there from Rutger. So there was the actual position change that we just talked about.
Dominic Forster, I think, had a little incident there. He's lost a few places, and I think Badenhop did as well. Looking down the screens. Ooh. So we have a couple of little trains on track, which is good. We've got currently the 4th chasing 3rd, 4 temps behind, all the way down to 7th. So there's just, what's that, 1.5 seconds separating those guys at the moment, overall. Then we've got another little train in the amateurs from 11th, Esley Vivers, down to Kieran Smart and Daniel Merchant, really. So what's that, 6 cars?
Yeah.
So it's going to unfold nicely. Kieran Smart racing in the Pro division. He's currently 3 places down from his pole position. Sorry, his qualifying position. I shouldn't say pole position. So he'll be keen to obviously make that up. He's only a 10th behind Rene Borsche in 14th at the moment.
Oh, where Dries Kader took a position there from Ashley Wavers, and Ashley Wavers is taking it back, so they're having a little door-to-door bang-in.
Yeah, rubbing his racing and all that.
Oh, well, I do believe Dries just backed out a little bit, but straight away has Maarten Postema there. I think Maarten was showing his car on the inside of Dries, but didn't make the move. So that keeps Maarten in P13 at the moment. So apart from the opening lap, it looks a bit more calmed down. Everybody's a little bit better settled into this race. Well, as you said, Mark, still some nice group of cars. I mean, look at that. It's now P10 to P18. That's a big group. And still for P2, while Shorter puts in another fast lap of the race, and now has a 2.2 lead over Pimbau. For P2, we have a 4-car battle, so still could go either way. And as you said before as well, Mark, with the pace car being out there for at least, say, 10 to 15 minutes, what's that going to do with the strategy for most of them?
Yeah, I would have thought in theory they're going to squeeze a couple more laps before they need to pit. Just having a little look, 140s, that's going to make a 26 lap race. I could get my calculator out here. That's rather embarrassing, isn't it? Let's have a little look. Mind you, we lost 3 laps, didn't we, as well, which doesn't help. So.
While Kieran Smart there takes the position from Maarten Postma and goes up into P13. And it looks like Maarten straight away has to defend as well against René Bosche for the SRT. But Daniel Merchant as well pretty much pushing René Bosche forward. So there's a lot going on track. Good stuff. If you're enjoying this race here at Hockenheim GP, please leave a comment in the chat as well. If you're not following, please do so. That would be highly appreciated, and as well as subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Facebook. We'll leave it in the Twitch chat. Well, so far so good. Seeing a good race on board with Danny Beagle from the front bump here. Lovely shot. Looking towards Dominic Förster. I think Dominic, he's dropped quite a lot of positions, doesn't he?
Yeah, he had a little, I think it was a little spin or an off track earlier and managed to lose a few places off the back of that as well, unfortunately, just after the restart. So I was just looking at my bad mathematics, and it would normally be circa 26 laps, but obviously with the pace car, probably going to be around 24 before we hit the 45-minute mark. So yeah, fueling, if it was based on last week, would be around lap 12, but I suspect they might be able to squeeze another lap or 2 out of it following the pace car for so long. So first 3 laps, we'll see what pans out, but I think be like last week. I think they'll come in en masse, I suspect.
And I think we have to go back to the battle with Dries Kader and Ashley Wavers, because it looks like we're looking at the lap before, aren't we? Again, it's Dries Kader who was looking at...
Tom White there.
And that was Kieran Smart.
Yeah,
I think he totally misjudged his braking there. Oh,
did he just nudge? Was that René?
Yeah, he avoided quite well there, going on the grass, and then tried to avoid the back of René Bosche, I do believe it was. Or it was even Leslie Wavers. But he did well. Then he came back on track. Well, had to be very... I think it was Maarten Postma who was there on the inside as well. So then again, all went good. Something that can happen. While we're looking back to Jamie Mollema, and here we are again with Dries Kader and Ashley Wavers there. Such a good battle. It's Kieran Smart in between. And René Bosche. I think, yeah, René just took the position there from Dries. So René slowly moving forward. He's got his eyes now on Kieran Smart. Oh, and here we go. On board with Matthew Hodges and René Duin. René Duin on the outside here at the hairpin. He's going to do a switchback. Oh, not really. Well, great racing here. Yeah, good racing. Matthew left enough room. Tried to have a good exit out of that hairpin, but obviously René Duin, I think, was on a better line there. So René Duin moves up into P6.
Oh, something's happened. Is that Dries Kader?
We see Dries Kader dropping back. But I mean, Maarten Postma as well, currently on P20. Let's have a little look at what happened here. It's just looking, it's all into the hairpin. Oh, that was Maarten Postma just locking up slightly. Turning around Dries. Oh, some avoided action. I think they did okay there on the rejoin, or at least going back on that racing line. It's really unfortunate. Postma locked up a little bit. Therefore, Dries lost quite a lot of positions, as well as Maarten Postema himself, while Joe Mantes is in the pit here.
Yeah, it's just about to shout that. So lap 10. So is this the start of the window, I suspect? See how close that field is. He's rocketing down the classification at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the biggest differences are within that top 10. If you look at Matthew, Matthew, I'm not quite sure what happened there. But it's René Duin as well. I mean, René Duin was in 6th position. And he's now back into 8th. So I'm not quite sure what happened with René Duin. Because we saw him making the overtake. Although we're looking at Pim Bauer and Jamie Mollema. Oh, a little bit of locking up there from Jamie. Oh well, can still keep that tight line.
Yeah.
But I think Jamie had to take that inside there because, I mean, he's got Danny Ward right on the back of him right now, and it's Ward who really wants to prove himself to get the colors for Vulcan Sim. The yellow, the black and yellow. Currently, it's the black and white. Oh, he's on the inside there, but Jamie will have that better run. Coming on to the final 2 turns. It's a lovely battle that we're seeing here for P2. Although I think Jamie wants to attack more than that he wants to defend.
Just looking slightly ahead, Chris Shorter is absolutely flying away. He's 5 seconds ahead now, Pim Bauer.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not gonna sound the way I mean it, but it's a little bit unfortunate. It's very good from Chris Shorter, don't get me wrong though. I mean, he definitely showed the pace last week at Silverstone as well. But I think he was the one that was sandbagging maybe a little bit in the practice, as we saw eventually the qualifying as well as now during the race. But then again, he's doing a good job maintaining the pace, controlling it, not making any mistakes, and he's 5 seconds ahead of Pim.
Just watching Kieran Smart going up now into a 9th position, so he's fighting his way back through the field nicely. Did have that early pit stop on lap 2, so he will have to pit again regardless.
Oh, and here we go back to, and it's David Ward really close to the back of Pim Bauer, while Jamie Mollema takes P2 there from Pim. Pim will take the outside line though, and it's quite a good corner with camber there. But wow, Jamie takes P2 quite well. Good move. Pim Bauer holding on to 3rd at the moment, but he's under pressure from Dave Ward as well as Joe Vaisa for XZ Racing. Still close by. And we saw some light flashing there from Pim. Not quite sure why. Then again, they're racing hard. But he doesn't want to start flashing too much. On board with Joe Vaisa. Nice little shot there to the cars in front. And I mean, depending on how hard they will battle, Mark, it's Matthew now 2 seconds behind Joe Vaisa, so who knows, he will be able to close up.
Well, we'll see. We'll just see Vaisa taking both Pim Bauer, David Ward. So coming up to a lap 13. Obviously not used a lot of fuel so far. I think my gut feeling is they'll be coming in soon. So currently Dennis Meisner is leading the charge for the amateurs down in 7th position. He's up 6 in the race from quali position. So yeah, he's having a good one at the moment.
Yeah, and as I said,
Stuart Wyners just took Esley Vivers, but he looks like he's spun.
Yeah, and he hit the barrier. Ashley
Pin
Wavers
Val's
will...
come in.
What happened there? I
Well, a
think
little
Ashley
nudge.
Waver, yeah, I think Ashley Waver's come off the curb, which put the car a little bit more to the outside of the track where Stewart was. Stewart keeping a little bit of a tight line as well, but what you want, and Ashley Waver's immediately jumping into the pit. And as you said, Pimbao in the pit as well. The question is, will he try to go for that undercut? It's quite interesting. Maarten Postema and Drieske there going at it again. And Dennis Meisner, he's doing so really well. P6, and we have him on the webcam as well.
Yeah.
For Energy Racing. He looks quite concentrated, focused.
Good race last week, didn't he? Oh,
he definitely had. I think he
he's me.
He finished fourth or something. God
Yeah,
bless
that's
you.
right. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, which was a great result, bearing in mind he's in the amateur class, don't forget.
Yeah, he's doing real well. We know Dennis from earlier seasons we've had here at CXR, which weren't in the Porsche though. This is our first Porsche Cup season. And it's seeming like we do have to do more of them. Here we see Pimbao on the outside of Maarten Postema. Well, is he going to keep that position? He is. Or he's not. Nope. Maarten Postema doing a really good job though. I think Pimbao tried to go for that outside to inside overtake. Not really working. Didn't have the run coming out while Joe Vaisa is in the pit lane now, Mark.
Yeah, I think the window is opening now. Wouldn't surprise me if you see a lot of them all coming in together now. Still, that's only, what's that, the first, second, third. Yeah, Mantis probably fourth. So yeah, it's only the fifth planned pit stop, I would say, looking at the others that have been and gone. Obviously, we've had a few that pitted on the first couple of laps with the incident, causing the yellow flag. Postema is also coming in.
Yeah, and this is interesting as well, Mark, because what about Pascal Tigelaar, who we're currently watching, and he takes P11 there from Daniel Merchant coming out of turn 2. And onto turn 3 to the hairpin, leading up to the hairpin. But what about Pascal? Because he was in the pit quite early as well, I do believe. So the question is, with that pace car, does he has enough? While Daniel Merchant misses his braking point there at the hairpin and has to leave the position to Hoffman. Hoffman puts himself in P12. A little bit of smoke from someone locking up right in front of him.
Yeah, Chris Shorter, just looking at the front, he's got time to have a Costa when he has his pit stop, hasn't he?
Oh, 8 seconds. It's pretty much the same as we saw last week, but something else that is pretty much the same as we saw last week is the battle between Jamie Mollema and David Ward. I mean, they were battling it out hard last week at Silverstone, where in the end I think it was Jamie who finished in front of David. And after the pit stops, it looked like Jamie had a good lead of roughly 3 seconds, but near the end of the race it was only a couple of tenths and he had to defend hard. While René Duin and René Borsche, as well as Robin Oosting are coming into pit. Daniel Merchant is coming in, so I do think you're right. Slowly everyone is taking their pit stop. Oh, here we have Jomantis on the inside of Drieske there. Oh, and I think Pimbao was the one behind Dries. I think Pimbao got collected in that one as well. Did Dries take too much curb there on the inside of turn 1, which made the car pop? Oh no, I do believe there was a little bit of a contact before with Pim, which made Dries lose the car as well. But then again, it's really unfortunate for Dries, but he has to carry on. P16. While we're looking at Pim and Joe Vaisa. Both came in the pit already earlier than Shorter, Mollema, and Ward and Hodges.
So leader is coming in. 15 laps completed.
Yeah, we see Jamie Mollema and David Ward coming in the background as well. Is it Matthew who's still going? I think it is. Yeah. Oh, a little bit of a jump there from the car from Zolder in the pit. But there we have it. Matthew Hodges still going. Is he trying to jump maybe David Ward or Jamie Mollema? He was about 2 seconds to 3 seconds behind. Well, Kieran Smart's still going as well. Here's Zolder coming out of the pit already. And he's got a good lead. He definitely has that good lead over Jamie and David.
So I'm just thinking, is Matthew Hodges taking a bit of a gamble staying out because everyone else looks like they've pitted now.
Well,
Kieran Smart will have to pit again because he pitted on lap 2, but I'm assuming he took on presumably a bit more fuel while he was fast repairing. Yeah, safety car issue. Yeah, so he's going to have to come in again, I suspect. Then
it's going to be interesting. Definitely for Matthew Hodges, it's going to be interesting because I would imagine that he will be coming in at the end of this lap at least. And he was about, like I said, 2.5 seconds behind Jamie Mollema and David Ward, who again are going at it. Only half a second in between. Looking back a little bit further down, we see Pascal Tigelaar currently in 13th on the back of Hoffman. Is he going to go for an overtake here on the inside of the hairpin? He's taking the inside line. And it looks like, oh, and he loses control. Does well to keep going again, but just a little bit too much speed coming into that hairpin, losing the back end.
And in comes Matthew Hodges, our current leader. So Kieran Smart, unless he dives in, which we'll find out any second now. He's staying out. Take a photo, Kieran.
And it's Zolder now up in second and only 4 seconds behind Smart. So it's quite obvious that he will take the lead once Kieran will come in. Matthew coming out. Yeah, I don't think it was a good gamble though. Seems like Matthew lost more than he gained trying to pit that late. He's in P6 now. Jomentis is in front, although I do believe Jomentis pitted quite early as well. Let's see what's Matthew gonna do. Is he gonna try to go for that overtake on Jomentis at the hairpin? He's really close. He's moving to the inside, braking as late as he can. Wow. A little bit of movement though from the back. A little of light flashing there from Jomentis, but I don't think there was anything wrong with his overtake. He broke a little bit late, but he kept the right line. The line that Jomentis wanted to take to drive out of that hairpin. So well done by Matthew. Up in P5, but he's got to fight hard to keep it. And due to that little spin from Pascal Tigelaar behind Hoffman, he's got Robin Oosting and Luke Towler now right on the back of him. And he's lost about 1.7 seconds to Pascal Tigelaar, while Kieran Smart is in the pit lane, and Zolder took back the lead he had before all the pit stops. Jamie Mollema jumps in second, David Ward in P3, so third position, final podium position. Matthew Hodges goes up into P4, but he's got to fight for it and hard. He's got Jomentis still right on the back of him, so will Jomentis try to return the favor and go for that inside move? Takes a little bit tight line coming out of turn 2. Should give him a good run coming onto this, well, you could call it a straight. It's pretty much a straight, but hey.
So Kieran Smart, who was leading, did pit and has come out in 8th position, so that paid off for him. So he's up 4 places from his qualifying position, just behind Dennis Meisner now. He's got a little bit of work to do. He's nearly 8 seconds behind.
Yeah, while we see René Duin and Kieran Smart side by side, coming up to the hairpin again. One
Is
of
it a
the
switchback?
places to go for the overtake. Oh, a little bit of contact between the two. A little bit of contact, but nothing too serious as it's looking. Rene down. Is he going to do it again? Nope, he's not going for the inside here. Although, oh, Kieran ran wide. That will definitely be enough track. Rene down, keeping it on the outside here. Some good racing, hard, but good racing. Rene down, keeping Kieran here on the inside of the track, which is quite a good thing to do, because that means that Kieran can't really do much on that inside line, and therefore Rene Down takes the position there from Kieran. So well done by Rene Down. Takes back P8. And he's got a gap about 8.8 seconds mark to Dennis Meisner, the leading amateur car in P7 overall.
It's almost Ringer-esque, isn't it? So David Ward is roughly a second behind Jamie Molma. I can't put my teeth in.
Mollema.
Thank you. Oh, I don't know, just had a moment there. Yeah, sorry, he's just around a second behind Molma at the moment. So he's got, what are we coming up to? 7 minutes. He's got. Oh,
Mark, your favourite part of this race.
Well,
I'm sorry.
4 or 5 laps to sort this out then, isn't he? 4 laps, I'm guessing. So yeah, as you can see, and as Ruben alluded to, driver of the day poll is up. It is just for fun. I'm sure you guys know the drill. You'll see the names of all the participants scrolling in the bottom right hand corner in alphabetical order with a number adjacent on the left hand side. Just whack that number in the chat. Job done. Oh, it's only obviously on Twitch, I've just realised, because we're expanding our horizons. So, yeah, in the Twitch chat. So, please don't. Well, you can type it in the comments if you like in YouTube. It do wonders with the algorithm. But, yeah, it's unfortunately only Twitch enabled. So, just to give you some ideas then, Ben Hoffman is up 9 places, currently the highest in the race, in 11th position. Luke Towler is up 7. And then we've got a few 6s. We've got Yomantis, Meisner,
Postema.
and Postema, yeah, and Postema. So have a look, or you could go for someone like Chris Shorter again, who's getting rather boring. We're only in week 2. He starts on pole, he shoots off, no one sees him till the end of the race. So
we don't know. I mean, we don't know if he rather would fight for it. Then again, he's just doing what he's best at, and he's just leading the race.
Go off like a stabbed rat. Let them fight behind you.
Well, I mean, that's a good one.
Boring to watch, but yeah, can't get into any trouble then, can you?
Well, exactly. Yeah, but he still can make a mistake. But then again,
yeah, you can make a mistake, but it's your own fault, isn't it? So.
Yeah, he showed last week Silverstone. He did pretty much the same thing. He's just good at controlling the race, and he's quick. So well done to Chris so far. Exactly.
Nothing wrong with it.
Back to the battle between Rene Down and Kieran Smart, because when we were looking at that driver of today, those were still going side by side, trying to get that P8 coming across the line. We're under 4 minutes remaining into this race, so I think this will be an interesting battle to look at too. Then again, we also have Jamie Mollema currently in 2nd position and David Ward in 3rd, and I do believe that they are still relatively close, at least within half a second to a second of each other. Although in the last lap, Jamie Mollema was about 3/10 quicker. And here we see Ben Hoffman for XZ Racing Team.
P12. Yeah, little train of him. It's good to see.
Yeah, he's behind Pascal Tigelaar. Pascal Tigelaar, obviously one who spun early on in the race, coming out of turn 3 onto that straight. Did a good job coming back there. Obviously, Stuart Wyness and Robin Oosting getting at it as well, coming up to turn 1.
Get his nose through.
And it's side by side. Oh, a little bit of a moment there from Oosting. That makes Stuart going up in front of the 2. Side by side going through turn 1. You gotta have some balls.
Just having a little look further up. Kieran Smart currently in 9th. It's only 3 tenths. He's lost about a tenth. He was a little bit closer than that.
Here we see Robin Oosting again. Now in front of Stewart, but Stewart will have that inside line coming onto the hairpin.
So Chris Shorter is nearly 22 laps complete. I'm just looking if it's going to be 1 more lap or 2 more laps. It's going to be tight based on a sort of a 1:41 lap time, which is what they tend to be doing at the moment. So I'll keep an eye out. He's crossing the line. Looks like we're going to have 2 laps to go, guys. Crosses the line, 2 minutes left, 1:40. Yeah, it's going to be this plus 1.
Jamie Mollema into the pit. Oh dear.
Someone got their fuel wrong.
Oh, and that is really unfortunate.
What makes me wonder then is Yomantis going to have to pit, because he pitted on lap 10, which is up to 6-7 laps earlier than the leaders.
Oh, and that's really unfortunate for Jamie. He was about 1.6 seconds ahead of David Ward.
I can only
it is what it is, though.
His fuel.
Well, he is coming out again, so I do believe you're right.
It's a long stop though.
But that puts his teammate René Duin, who we're currently watching, and still has a great battle there with Kieran Smart. Oh, Kieran Smart loses it. Kieran Smart loses it.
I was just about to say he's back on the trail there, but yeah.
I think
we both saw it at the same time.
He accelerated while putting his wheels on the grass there, coming out of turn 3. Let's have a little look from above. I mean...
Is that fractions, isn't it?
Yeah, oh, you gotta love the iRacing physics. Then again, it happened. Really unfortunate for Kieran. I'm not quite sure. Did he lose maybe 1 position? He did to René Porsche. I must say, René Porsche having a really good race as well. Currently in 8th. Oh, David Ward's running out of fuel, maybe? Oh, I think David Ward's low on fuel.
He can't be. He pitted on lap 16.
Yeah, but then again, maybe he's got his fuel calculations wrong.
Oh dear. Oh, Chris Shorter's in. What is going on?
Oh. This is going to be interesting because Matthew... Remember Matthew...
Oh my God. They've short fueled. So Matthew Hodges was a similar time. Is he going to have enough fuel to get round? Yomantis had a similar pit stop time. So I'm assuming by that deduction that they put similar amount of fuel.
We're on the final lap, people. Yeah. We're on the final lap. Wow, what a race this is turning out to be. So that puts Matthew Hodges in P1, Joe Mantis in P2, the other Lithuanian driver, Joe Vaisa, in P3, Dennis Meisner, the leading
someone's out of fuel.
P4.
David Ford's out of fuel, isn't he? Someone give him a push.
Yeah, but here we see Hoffman,
and Hoffman and Luke Tower both gone in. Oh
my God, this is what a race is this?
Are they using the wonderful crew chief as it short fueled them with the pace car? Has it confused it?
Well, it could be. It was what I was thinking. That could be a reason. But it's... Well, yeah. It's very interesting. Kieran Smart on the back of René Porsche. I do believe we have to go back to Hodges and Jomantis though, because we have a lead for P1. And he's only second in front of Jomantis and Jovaisa. But will they all play it safe? And will they just take the position they're in? Are they consolidating their position? I do think they will, although Jovaisa
probably got too much work to do. He's coming into the last section of the
let's hope for Matthew that he's not start sploding around here.
Well, you managed to suddenly fall in. Is he out of fuel?
Oh, well, or he's just taking it a little bit safe. I mean, as long as he's in front of Jovaisa, he's in front.
Here we come.
Oh, it looked really close there between Jomantis and Jovaisa.
Oh,
and I think Jovaisa, well, congratulations to Matthew Hodges for taking the win there. What an interesting finish. Jomantis finished in second, Jovaisa still in third. Wow. And Dennis Meisner overall in fourth position.
What a finish again.
Wow.
2 4s in the trot, isn't it?
Chris Shorter coming in fifth. René Duin for Team RNL in sixth position. Kieran Smart here just in front of René Porsche. So he took the position from René Porsche. Then again, René Porsche took it quite well, taking P2 for the AMs, Pascal Tigelaar, Jamie Mollema and Robin Oosting. And then everybody's coming through, but wow, that was interesting, Mark.
Well, that was a bit of a curveball after we saying Chris has got this in the bag, wasn't it? It was literally a splash and dash. 4 seconds. He went in the pit second time. Well, at least I got the number of laps right, I suppose. So, guys, if you haven't voted, get your votes in for Driver of the Day.
Wow.
Obviously, only on Twitch. I'm going to have to pick someone. I think. Oh, who do we go for? Have you voted, Ruben?
I just did. Yeah.
29. Who's 29? Remind me.
René Bosch.
That's keeping it in the family, isn't it? Eh?
Keeping it in the family.
I've got to go with Mr. Hodges. I think I'm going to go for a little bit unexpected, and maybe the lap 4 I wouldn't have gone for him, but yeah, well done, Matthew.
Wow. What a race we've seen. It is interesting, to say the least.
It was good. It was good.
So, the race results, Mark.
Okie dokie. Let's do this then. So, is that his maiden win, I assume, for CXR Project Black, is Matthew Hodges. Gervais finishes second for XZ Racing Team. Chris Shorter, after having to go into the pit on the last lap for a splash and dash for Ignium Motorsport, finishes third. Rene Down finishes fourth. Kieran Smart fifth. Pascal Tigelaar in sixth. Jamie Malema in seventh. Dominic Forster in eighth. Yomantis in ninth. Danny Beagle in 10th. Ben Hoffman 11th. David Ward 12th. Pim Bow 13th. And that's all the pro drivers. Classifications for the amateurs. Dennis Meisner makes it 2 out of 2 for Rafe Energy Racing. René Bourchier for DSRT RGB Solutions. His compatriot Robin Oostin, also for the same team, in the third. Stuart Warnes, a good race from him as well, finishes in fourth. Postema in fifth. Maurice Badenhop in sixth. Daniel Welch in seventh. Luke Towler in eighth. Dries Kadir ninth. Leslie Vevers in 10th. And Gerriton in 11th.
So let's have a look at the pro standings then. After two rounds.
Chris Shorter still fairly comfortable lead, 13 points, despite the little hiccup in the race tonight. Ahead of Matthew Hodges, taking his maiden win into second position, 27. Jamie Malema holds tight into third. I think he slips one technically. Pascal Tigelaar on 20 points in fourth, and Jo Weiser rounding out the top 5 with 19. And then finally in the amateurs, Dennis Meisner makes it 2 out of 2, full house, 50 points. René Bourchier for DSRT in second on 26. Postema in third on 22. Esley Vavers fourth in with 19 points. And Stuart Winus finishing fifth overall so far with 16 points.
There we have it. Let's have a look at the. Let me just go and have a look at the overalls as well.
I was going to say, if we got an overall, just like that, magic.
Just like that. Dennis Meisner in second as well. Really good drive from Dennis. Like two solid AM wins in a row. So.
Yep. So this is true results, if you like, if they're all on a level playing field. So Chris Shorter, 10 points ahead of Dennis Meisner, if you just pointed out, Phil. Matthew Hodges goes into third on 25, and Malema is in fourth. So, yeah, it looks good. It's interesting. It's nice to see a couple of amateurs in the top 10 there. Leslie Vavers, the other one, in 8th.
100%. So, next week we're at Imola.
That should be a good one as well.
I was going to put you on the spot then and ask you, but I didn't.
I was just about to say, are we in Imola next week? But you took the words out of my mouth. Is that a song? I can't remember.
Anyway. Yeah, so Imola next week for round number 3, and then we're off to Canada for round number 4. So that should be
excellent.
That should be good. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, who's driver of the day after all that excitement?
Oh yeah, after all that excitement, let's go back and check. Bring it back on screen. Let me close the vote. So
just for fun.
Just a bit of fun, I believe.
Bragging rights.
It is Chris Shorter. 5 votes. 5 votes for Chris.
I think they voted a bit prematurely there.
Yeah, I think it's one of them. Obviously, we tried to put the driver of the day up with 5 minutes to go based on the whole entire race. But then if you
Lastminute.com issue.
Yeah, if you vote at that point whilst that person is in the lead and then they have to make a pit, then would that still make your driver of the day? I don't know. I mean,
well,
so
it
maybe
changed my mind because I wasn't going to go with Mr. Hodges, but
no, same. I wasn't either. I was going to go for Chris as well. So it's just one of them where it can really throw it. So maybe we need to put driver of the day up after the race. I don't know. And then
I think put it on the last 5 minutes and then like we do, we close it a minute or two after, so there's no panic to log it. Just gets the old brain thinking about it, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, really good race tonight. It was obviously started with a bit of an incident with the yellow flags. I don't think it was anybody's fault. I mean, I'm not sure whether I can go back that far now. I probably can actually. We just take a little look at the start. Maybe in a bit more of a. Yeah, it's just unfortunate. That's just three wide racing all coming together, a bit of a sandwich, and then therefore anything can happen at this point. So it's good that the yellow flag was called because obviously that gets everyone back racing. Everyone gets to go and take that fast repair if they need to go and take the fast repair. So it was good to see that we did get everyone back racing, and also Robin taking the wave by. That'll be why he had to. That's why he had to tow back to pits. Couldn't drive straight at all.
Yeah. No.
Whereas, the rest of them.
And it's a pain. It's a pain trying to do it if you're on the final corner, let alone the second corner. So.
No, exactly. So, yeah. Imola next week. Really looking forward to that. Imola's a good track, and I think it should be a good circuit for these cars. It's another one of those where lots of undulation. Anything can happen. Yeah. Literally, really could
throw
be.
The cars about.
Yeah, and as we saw with the F1 this week, I mean, you go through some of those chicanes, you hit the last chicane actually, those bumps are gonna, the sausage curbs on the inside and outside. Wow, yeah, that could be quite a challenge.
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting. So yeah, looking forward to that one.
We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, cheers for your commentary, guys. Awesome as always. Cheers to Neil, Ed, and Aaron in Royce Control. Awesome work as always, and cheers to all the drivers and everybody for watching on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook as well. The old multi-stream that we are now. With the old face ache. Yeah, we'll catch you next week, same time, about 5 to 8, depending on if Mark needs to go and get some cash out.
Yep, needs must. Got to pay the electric meter as I can't talk to you, can I? Eh?
Yeah. Have we lost Ruben? He's still there?
I
think he's here now.
Came back
he
in.
disappeared.
Seriously, the race was done. I was going to tell you that I had some inside info that crew chief was the one that screwed over a couple of
called
people.
It right.
They underfueled by 1 lap, maybe because of the pace car. And what I was going to say as well, I do see some people in general chat, which I don't know if you want to do some interviews or if they're just having some discussions. But we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm back for a quick see you next week.
Yep.
See you later.
Yeah, catch you everyone next week. Cheers for watching. Bye bye. Nice.
Yeah, my internet seriously just cut out at the point where I would